Good afternoon, students, and welcome back to the class of Macroeconomics SYBCom. In previous class, we have discussed about the Keynesian theory of income and employment or income and expenditure, through which he has tried to explain the new version of QTM. So Keynes tried to explain the quantity theory of money with the equilibrium of income and expenditure. So in previous class, we have seen that Keynes has given a equation which is indicating the equality of income and expenditure. So in this was the last topic that we have covered in previous class. So in that we have seen that if we consider the expenditure of the individual or society, we find that the society incurs expenditure on consumption goods or capital goods, that is investment. So therefore E, that means expenditure, has to be C plus I, either consumption expenditure or income expenditure. Now from the above equation, what we have concluded, that equilibrium will take place at a point where your income and expenditure will be same. And we have seen total income can be known by adding your consumption plus saving. That means if I will add how much you have consumed and how much you have saved, then I will get the total income which you received. That is why your Y is equal to C plus S and E is equal to C plus I. That means expenditure is done either on the consumption or on the production. So consumption expenditure is indicated by C, production expenditure is indicated by I. So E is equal to C plus I. When we'll equate Y is equal to E, that is C plus S equal to C plus I. So finally we'll get the S is equal to I. So in this, what Keynes have said, that as long as S and I are going to be in equilibrium, there will be no problem in the economy, or economy will remain at a equilibrium. But that is not a normal condition. It may be possible that S and I are not in equilibrium. Then what will happen? So he tried to explain the equality of saving and investment. It is a condition which is required to know the value of money. Now, it is thus clear that in an economy where the volume of investment is equal to the volume of saving, then the aggregate expenditure being equal to aggregate income, it is in equilibrium. For the simple reason, whatever the community takes away from the income in the form of saving adds exactly the same amount through the investment expenditure. That means it is said that the saving and investment will be equal to each other, because whatever we are saving, that amount will be going as an investment. See, when we are saving that money for the purpose of either precaution or for the purpose of earning interest. So we are saving money in the, let us say, banks. Now banks will give this money as a loan to entrepreneur or a businessman. So that money will go as an investment. That is why saving will always be equal to investment. As we have seen that one person's expenditure is another person's income. What I will be doing or I will be spending as an expenditure will be income of somebody else. Same way, what I am saving will be made or used in as an investment by somebody else. So that is why saving and investment will be equal. So that is what it is said in this paragraph, that whatever the community takes away from income, that means whatever community is not spending out of their income, in that will be available in the form of saving, and this saving will be exactly equal to the amount of investment expenditure. That means what I am not using as a consumption will be saved, and this saved amount will be automatically get added in the investment expenditure. So it will be your saving and investment equality. Further, In such a situation, the entrepreneurs have no reason to change the volume of investment and employment. See, as long as saving and investment remains equal, the entrepreneur is having no problem or no uh, incentive or no reason to change the volume of investment and employment. So it means as long as saving and investment will be equal, there will be no change in the investment and employment. It will remain as it is. That means static situation will be existing in a economy. It should, however, be noted that this equilibrium may not be achieved necessarily at full employment level. It may be at the level below full employment, far below full employment. So that is the main difference between the classical economists and Keynesian economists. Classical economists assumed that economy operates at a full employment level. So classical economists said that full employment is a normal situation, whereas Keynes said that full employment is not a normal situation, it is a rare situation which hardly occurs in any economy. So it is not a normal situation. So generally any economy operates at a below full employment level. So that is why Keynes said that equilibrium will take place in economy at a point where saving and investment will be equal, but that equality of saving and investment need not to be at full employment level. It may be below full employment level. So now we'll see that what will happen if there is a disequilibrium between saving and investment. Now when we are saying disequilibrium between saving and investment, that means there is a gap between saving and investment. The disequilibrium between saving and investment arises because in the society the decision to save and to invest are taken by different groups of people with their own motives. Saving is an act of consumers while investment is made by an entrepreneur. That means saving and investment are done by two different people. So the equality between them has to be maintained because the objective of saving and investment are different. Further, so this the act of saving and investment is done by the two different people, that is entrepreneur as well as the consumer. People want to save. Now we have to understand that why people are saving and why entrepreneur is making investment. The motive are different. So people want to save to make provision for the contingencies. That means for securing their future. That means if in case of any emergency they want to have a provision or arrangement, that is why they are saving. But sorry, they may also save for the providing good future for their children, or for the pleasure of enjoying a good social status or social prestige, and also for earning more interest income, more income in the form of interest. So there are different views of a people to save. Some people are saving for security purpose of their future. Some people are saving just to pass on the more wealth to their children. Some people save just to have a more social status, that they want to be in the list of a millionaire or billionaire. That is why they are saving. And some people are saving just to make money out of the savings that they have saved. So consumers interest is different. Now the volume of saving depends on the level of income. This we have already seen. So higher the income, more will be the savings. That means the saving capability of a person will be more. It is also affected by such factors like the tax policy of the government, policies for the investment opportunities, price level, etc. So if price level is increasing, I have to spend more money, that is my expenditure will increase, so my savings will automatically decrease. Tax policy, if government is charging a high rate of tax, in order to save the tax I have to or in order to avoid the tax payment I will save more. So that these are the factors which will affect the consumers desire to save, whereas investment on the other hand is usually motivated by desire to earn profit. Investment depends on the desire to earn profit. It also depends upon the factors like marginal efficiency of capital, that is expected rate of return on investment which I am making, or we can say rate of interest. If the rate of that means the rate of interest is common for both say consumers as well as the investors, because when the rate of interest is less, producer will borrow more money for making investment. So rate of interest and investment are oppositely related. Further, the volume of saving and investment in the economy depends on the decision of different group of people. Therefore, there is every possibility of disequilibrium arising between the two, because the interests of two people are different. So there is a 100% chance that there will be a disequilibrium between these two components, that is saving and investment. However, according to Keynes, the equilibrium is restored not through the exchange, not through the change in the rate of interest as assumed by the classical theory, but through the changes in the level of income. See, the situation of disequilibrium is accepted by both classical as well as the Keynesian economists. But the classical economists have given another way of solving the equilibrium or attaining the re-equilibrium, whereas Keynes has given a different concept. So according to classical economists, they said that rate of interest is going to determine the equilibrium level, or restoration of equilibrium will be done through rate of interest. But Keynes said that it is not through rate of interest, but it is through changes in the level of income that equilibrium can be restored. That is the basic difference between classical economist and Keynesian economist. Now, there are two possibilities of disequilibrium. Either your saving is more than your investment, or your investment is more than your saving. Or we can say either saving is more than investment or saving is less than investment. So we'll analyze both the situation, that what will happen if saving exceeds investment, that is saving is more than investment. And we will also analyze that what will happen if saving is less than investment, or we can say investment is more than saving. Okay, so first we'll analyze savings more than or exceeding investment. If savings exceed investment, it means that aggregate expenditure on newly produced goods is less than the income generated in the production. It means if I can save more only if I'm consuming less. If you remember, we have seen that y is equal to c plus s. So my S will increase only if I am consuming less. So S is equal to Y minus C. So savings will be more only if my consumption is less. So it means that whatever I am getting as an income, out of that I will be consuming less and saving more. So when I consume less, the revenue to the producer will be less. So what producer will do, when I consume less, the producer's earnings will be less. Producer's earning will be less. That means producer's profit is going to fall. When the profit is going to fall, he is not going to make new investment. When he is not going to make new investment, the level of employment will decrease. When employment will decrease, income will also decrease. When income will decrease, your consumption will further decrease. So that is how the cycle will start. So this also implies that the entrepreneurs will fall short of their expectation, and so they will curtail output. That means they will reduce the production, which will lead to fall in the employment and income. This decline in income results into fall in saving, which is a function of income. We know as income is increasing, the saving capacity will also increase. So whenever there is a fall in the income, your savings will decrease. As a result, this reduces the volume of saving and investment. The employment and income will continue to shrink till the point where again saving and investment are becoming at equilibrium. So this process of reduction will continue till the point of new equilibrium is not formed. So the new equilibrium point will be below the previous one. However, this equilibrium is established at a lower income and low price, because employment and income apply a downward pressure on the price level. So less employment means less income means less purchasing power, less purchasing power means reduction in price has to be done in order to sell your commodity. So that is why the new equilibrium will be that restored at a lower point as compared to previous equilibrium. So the conclusion is that whenever saving exceeds your investment, new equilibrium will be always formed below old equilibrium or less than the level of old equilibrium. So that is the case when the saving exceeds investment. Now we'll see what will be the situation when investment exceeds the saving, the exactly opposite situation. On the other hand, when investment exceeds the saving, it means the income of the consumers increases due to increased expenditure. So when the producer make more investment, the employment will increase. When employment will increase, income will increase. When income will increase, then the consumption and saving both will increase. So the consumers therefore spend more on consumption goods, which will lead to the rise in the price of such goods, and this would mean that more profit for entrepreneurs engaged in the production of such goods. That means the upward movement will start in an economy. So consumers will get more income. By getting more income, they will spend more. That means consume more. When they will consume more, then more production will be further produced. So that means the new equilibrium will be determined at a higher level as compared to previous level and at a high price rate. This will encourage more investment in both consumption good and capital good, resulting into increase in income and employment. This increase in income due to increase in investment will lead to increase in saving, because saving is a function of income. The increase in saving and income will continue till the investment and saving are not becoming equal. The new equilibrium between saving and investment will be at a high level of income and price level, because increase in employment and income put upward pressure on the price level. This is the situation in case of investment exceeding the savings. So finally, now we have to see that the conclusion of Keynesian theory. Now, in case of Keynesian theory, the conclusion is like, the theory in short points out that changes in the level of saving and investment that cause price fluctuations and consequently bring about changes in the quantity of money through changes in the level of income. Thus, if saving and investment are in equilibrium, the price level will tend to remain stable. That is what I told you in the beginning. As long as your saving and investment are equal, there will be stability in the economy, or static condition will prevail in economy. But if saving exceeds investment, the value of money will rise. That is, the price level will fall. And if investment exceeds saving, the value of money will fall and price level will rise. This is in sharp contrast to the quantity theory of money, because the income theory states that changes in the value of money are more a consequence of change in income rather than change in the quantity of money. So finally the Keynes said that the value of money depends not on the quantity of money, but it depends on the income of a consumer, and income through saving and investment is going to maintain the equilibrium in a economy. So this is how the Keynesian theory is explaining about the equality of income and expenditure. So that's all, student, for today's class, and thank you very much for paying attention, and we'll meet in the next class with a new topic.